thing. We got a lot of love. The Miss Pat Show is a grown folk sitcom. Kiss Terry. But if you cuss at your kids like I do, them ugly can watch it with you too. Come on, it's time to go. It's the Miss Pat Show.
Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Sammy Leggett here representing TeamJVS. I'm here to give you guys a review for a BET Plus show called The Miss Pat Show. Now, this is starring and about the life of Patricia Williams, who is a well-known comedian for the past 18 to 20 years. Has been all over the place and is undeniably funny. But it was kind of like, what is this show? Because it's on a streaming service and it's not your conventional like sitcom. This is not, Mr. Cooper or Family Matters. This is not, what you are used to seeing because it is completely unfiltered and completely her. And I think that it is probably one of the funniest sitcom shows I may have ever seen. Because the thing is, I was kind of like, so you guys have only been exposed to the first 4 episodes. I've seen all 10 episodes of the first season. And I honestly, by the end of that, I really want to see the next season. I hope that this gets continued for more, because I'm gonna go ahead and kind of give you a breakdown. So when you first see the very first episode, if you have not ever seen this before, it kind of starts off kind of like, think Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle, he starts his stand up, talking to the crowd, getting around up, kind of giving them like a plethora of a story that's connected to whatever the situation is. But with Dave Chappelle, it's a whole bunch of skits. It starts off literally with her talking to the audience in the most funniest ways to whatever the scenery is in that scene to go in and transit. The transition, every single episode starts and begins that way. And I thought that was very unique, very interesting, and also very vibrant, because it allowed you to understand that like they are really going for it. Not only are they understanding what this scripting is, but they're making it their own. And the thing about the first 4 episodes, I don't want to talk too much about episodes 5 through 10, but the first 4 episodes deal with a couple different things, using of words, of like the stigma of people and the way everybody outside society projects and looks at them. And one of the most interesting things in the first episode is Pat's daughter. She kind of, is a little scared and apprehensive going into school and whatnot, because she doesn't know, what could happen. But it's kind of like, for Pat, it's kind of like, no, we're coming from a worse situation. We're in Indiana. This should be fine. But the daughter is more so like the way people look at and perceive her as a black woman in this situation. And just there are different episodes like that. There's an episode where the son, he has these 2 friends and they loosely use the N-word. And, the family hears them say it, and the dad has, this is the thing. I think this is the thing that makes this show very key, is that everything that I know, being a black man myself, and the way that they react to a certain situation is the exact way I was like, yeah, this is exactly how I react. This is exactly how my family members react. This is exactly how this would be happening. This is not kind of telegraphed. This is not sugar-coated. It's completely unadulterated. Now, the other thing is that there's a huge amount of language. So she is loose in terms of the way that she says anything and everything. And I love it, because it shows you, one, their family dynamic. And she, even when she talks about like, she's a comedian, even in the show, that when she uses her comedic work, is coming from a place from her past. And that may be pain, that may be struggle, that may be adversity. Because, I think the very first episode, she was talking about how she got shot. And like one of her body parts is messed up because of her getting shot, and somebody betraying her, and things have happened, and what she been to jail, and all these different kind of things. And she's just, the thing about it that it feels so bold and yet honest is that never did it feel like it was telegraphed. It never felt like this wasn't fluid. It almost felt like they were a legit family. Like, if I didn't know the person that plays the role of Terry wasn't her husband, I would believe it, because they literally feel like this is an actual family. Even down to, the older son, Brandon, who has a different dad. And kind of like how he's just a recluse. He just kind of goes and plays video games. He doesn't want to work. And that happens. Like, there are people that are in their late 20s that, they're trying to make a living playing video games and kind of stick to themselves. But, every single one of the kids are refined. They are not the same. Whether it is the youngest, whether it's the oldest, all the kids, they have a specific thing about them. Even Pat has another daughter that makes a actually interesting little surprise in episode 3. And later on in another episode, which is really interesting. So I think that their handling of the characters and their handling of the subject matter in connection to Patricia or Pat, I think is very complimentary. Like, I think that they're doing a really good job. But the thing is, I've been talking around all the different semantics and all the different things that structurally make this a good comedic show, even though it's very rated R. And this would never be something on, daytime network. But I could easily see this on Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Like, Netflix would be like, oh my gosh, Netflix lost out. This is a great show that VT won over in getting, because it is hilarious. I feel like I went through, even today, I went and rewatched a couple of episodes. I couldn't stop laughing from like episode to episode. Like, I was just like laughing. But the thing about it is that later on, there are certain episodes that touch on some real things. Like different stigmas that people perceive about us as black men or black women, in the way that the family handles it and the way the show tackles it. Take the main character, wife's husband, Terry. Terry, he's a God-fearing man, and he's hardworking, and he has a situation where he gets, furloughed, and that puts him in a place of internal struggle. And it's kind of like, when you're growing up in a situation where you're trying to make something yourself, and you're ingrained to be like, I'm going to push through. I'm going to make it. This is my job. I have to protect my family. I have to serve my family. When you feel like you can't, and when you feel like everything is crumbling around you, you start to feel in a certain kind of way mentally down. And that leads into a lot of different escalations. And the show in just one episode tackled it. But the thing about it is that something that happens in like episode 2 isn't something that they forget later on. Like, no, like every single moment that happens in this has an intricate spiral that changes the course of the family, to the point that the last episode nearly had me in tears. Like, I was kind of like, dang, that's real, but dang, what are they gonna do? The character Junebug, he is really charismatic. He's really funny, but he's also very blind and ignorant to the situation of life. And he's got 2 parents that went through hell and back, and specifically his mom that won't give him an inch. But that doesn't stop him from not being put into dangerous situations because of his actions. And I think that the realistic side of it, and if you've looked at Family Matters, like Eddie Winslow and Laura always put themselves in situations. Like even Mr. Cooper, like going down to Tia and Tamara, sister, like the kids will always put themselves in a situation because they're not immediately going to go to what they already have, which is a resource, which is their parents. The difference with this is that Pat isn't always the best influence, even though she's got a good heart, but she is cutthroat. She don't give a care. And I love it. I'm all the way for it. And like her one-liners are almost gold. Like if you even get through, the first 2 episodes, you're going to be hooked. But wait and see, bro. Like there are things that happen in like episodes 5 and episode 6 that are just comic gold. And again, like the show gets better progressionally, and you wouldn't think that, because normally you kind of like, oh, okay, show goes, it goes. You got some good episodes here or there, but no, like every single episode builds on the characters, because again, they don't just fleetingly just stop. Like no, the story builds, and the house changes, and the surroundings change, and the characters evolved, and the characters learn from each other. The characters learn how to be better people. And Pat struggles. Pat really does struggle with trying to maintain her household, and also her household in connection to her past and what she used to be, and as opposed to what she is right now. And that's not always the case. Like anybody that knows, when you're going through life, you're not the person that you were back then. Even though your motivations, and people say people can't change, sometimes it's true, but fundamentally you're in a different place, and that is sometimes scary. That sometimes changes the outlook of everything. I think aesthetically and visually, I think that it definitely feels very fluid. Quality is really good from a sitcom standpoint. Every episode dynamically goes through. Really good intro music's pretty good. But I just love the interactions of the family, bro. Like every word that they say, every line of delivery, like they're always consistently going back and forth, tit for tat at each other. Sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you said that. And yeah, but they don't, what's the word? They don't over dramatify it. Even though it's kind of a sitcom, they really try to keep it grounded, but the verbiage is there because verbally those moments happen. And it's not just that this black family that interacts with just a black family. No, there are Caucasian people, there are other ethnic groups, there are other people that are connected to them. And the way that the family pings off of the other families or different, groups of people also has an interesting impact on the way that the show and the dynamics of the show actually function. So for me, I really did enjoy it. I don't really have any flaws with it, to be honest with you. And I was kind of like, oh, it's gonna, the last few episodes gonna, like, no, like they really go for it. Specifically with a character that I don't want to spoil. I can't believe that they went there with that character. And again, I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, you got one, two, three, about 4 kids, a sister, a husband, and Miss Pat. And you're gonna love every second of what they do. And you're gonna be very entertaining. If you aren't watching it, go and check it out. It's on BET Plus right now. You don't want to miss it. Yeah, I don't have anything negative to say about it. 10 for me. As far as a sitcom, I think the thing is, you got Blackish, right? You got, Modern Family, you got certain sitcom shows, but not like it used to be. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about this that evolves the process of what a sitcom could be is that this is completely unfiltered. This is completely unrated. And because of that, this gives me an experience like I've never had before, where you got like Eddie Murphy's Raw, like there's nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? And like even Dave Chappelle's like, there's nothing like that. But as far as a sitcom and just going all the way for it, like, yes, this is one of the best sitcoms on streaming services right now. You guys take care. Peace.